Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
How was important for you, if was important, to win in Madrid after some defeats, unexpected defeats?
Well, it was very important win for, I think, my confidence level and also for the, Roland Garros coming up around the corner. After Australian Open, I struggled to kind of find my best level, and the win against Dominic Thiem in the semi-finals was very important to kind of build on that win, and then finals was a great performance. I didn't drop a set in Madrid, so for sure I'm coming into Rome feeling good and feeling a bit relieved as well. Obviously it's different when you win a Master Series event on clay. You just feel like you took a step towards where you want to be, and you're headed in the right direction.
Now, before Grand Slams and Roland Garros in a couple of weeks, is there anything you do during that week before differently than maybe a big ATP event, or how do you kind of specifically prepare for Grand Slams?
Well, again, it's slightly different preparation, I think, for Roland Garros than maybe other slams, because you don't have maybe as much time. I mean, depends on how I play here in Rome, how far I go. If I, have a really good tournament and go all the way, obviously, I'm taking several days off and then starting to train again. So comparing to other Grand Slams, the weeks prior to Australian Open, for example, you have, at least 7 days of training in Australia. Same for US Open, but here it's a bit different because the amount of tennis that you play. So I'm not looking to have so much practice in Roland Garros. I think I'm playing well. I'm in a good form physically. I feel good. I'm motivated. So it's not going to change too much. I've been doing certain things a similar way for many years that have been working for me. So there's no reason to alter it in any way drastically. I've played historically very well and successful in Paris. I won the title once, but I played finals several times, many semi-finals. So I know what it takes to go far in the Grand Slam, but my attention is first focused on Rome.
Like you're going from here to the player council meeting where there's the vote for the board.
Yeah.
And I'm curious whether you've made your mind up or not on who you're voting for. I'm not asking that, but what I was going to say, whether you have or not.
Yeah.
What qualities are you going to look for in a candidate? What do you think the next person on there needs?
First of all, you guys have to understand that I see the way it was presented in the media. I didn't really like it, and I don't think it's fair that you guys point out myself as the decision maker. I am a president of council, but that consists of 10 players. So the majority decides. I am one of the 10. So I do have respect of players, and of course, and I'm very privileged to be leading the group, but I cannot make decisions on behalf of the group, nor any of my stands can make difference if majority votes for someone else or something else. So that's going to be the same kind of process now. We are having presentations, so 6 candidates are going to present, and after that we will see. Obviously, I don't know what they're going to come up with. When they present, we'll talk as a group and then make a decision. What is a priority for us? What are we? I think what do we want to get out of them? I think we collectively have to understand the so to say a profile of a person that we're looking for, whether it's experience in sport, in business, both. That's to be discussed.
If you don't think you should be accountable If you don't think you should be accountable as president, then who should be?
It's not about accountability. It's about it's about the way you guys are portraying the whole process. Kind of putting all the weight on one guy. You know what I mean? I am a president of council, but then we are not voting. If you know the system and the structure, the board votes. So we have representatives of a board, so I'm not the one going and voting yes or no on the board. It's 3 board representatives. So they have the right, and historically they have been doing something that is also against the council, because they feel responsibility and they feel like that's the right way to go about and represent players in sport. So, we have been selected from majority of the players to be representatives of players, but we cannot always influence player board representatives that are the ones that are going out and voting the way they think they should. So why should I be always the one accountable for that if I'm not the one voting?
Next question, please. Right here, front.
Sorry? No, give him. I would like to hear what he. Yeah.
Well, if the board members who then vote against your wishes are then ousted, like Roger Rashid was, it does seem like there's pretty direct influence on who picks the board.
It has happened, as I said, it has happened in the past, and they've stayed.
And it does seem like you are voting, from what I've heard, you are voting in the majority consistently. This is not like you're getting overshadowed. And you are the leader by title in this group, and you're the number one.
And your source is reliable.
Sure. Well,
Okay.
if you ever want to say anything about what happens there, you can shed more transparency on it.
You have first-hand information from the council?
Sure.
Sure?
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Well, if you wanted to refute something, great. But if you just want to say you're not saying the right thing and give no counter story, that's not as useful.
Then we can work on a one later, okay?
I would like to answer that, please. So, I know you guys are looking for a story, and when you have a certain agenda behind certain stories and articles that are written, and you cannot always react and act from the position of defense, because then you would expose your weakness, or then what does that mean? That we have to react to every certain article that you write or anybody writes, because you're exposing counsel, you're exposing me as an individual, that I am against certain individuals that were, I don't know, on the board or leading the association or something like that? I just don't understand your comment about that we have to react with the opposing story on every single article. It doesn't make any sense. Why would we?
Not asking for reaction, asking for any degree.
But that's what you said. That's what you said. You said if there is a certain story that has been portrayed in the media, then you're expecting an opposing story, so you can counterbalance both, and you can then compare, and you can understand who's right or who's wrong, right? That's
all I want is accuracy, and I feel like with no transparency, that makes it very tough. And if all you're saying is you're wrong,
So-
not giving any sort of...
okay. So you believe that any story that is out there is transparent and honest and true?
I'm not saying I vouch for every story and people have written. I don't know every story.
Well, you do vouch for every single information that you get from your allegedly reliable source, right?
Well, I'm not sure what information I have that you disagree with me personally.
I don't know. I'm not pointing out on any specific information, but you're saying, you're actually, it's quite paradoxical what you're saying. I mean, you're saying from one hand, I don't vouch for every story, whatever, but you get information from your source, and then you write about it, you tweet about it, or you put it out there, you create the buzz, you create the friction, and then of course it creates a story, it creates the whole wave of tsunami against us, and then what are we supposed to do? React on every single tweet? No, just a second. React on every single tweet. I mean, it's not fair, really. I mean, before understanding the proportions, the ramifications, understanding, what you're doing with every single tweet that you have to our sport, to our players. I'm not saying that everything that you're tweeting about or writing about is wrong. Absolutely not. I respect. You're looking for a story. I understand that. I respect you. But
what specifically is wrong? If you're saying not everything is wrong, then what is wrong?
No, but you're pointing out on a specific information. I'm pointing out on the whole process of what is the way you go about things. You know, that for me, it's not fair. I mean, if you want to write the whole story and understand the both sides, then you would get a little bit more information rather than calling out counsel or myself or anyone else in the process when you get your information from whatever source.
When I try to get information for you, you say nothing. So I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And I should let other reporters ask questions because I don't want to take up everybody's time.
I mean, okay, I'm not the president of ATP, so you're asking me, you know, I mean, I understand you want to get information from me. I can give you some information. I'm just not in that privileged position to give you, or I can, but then it's not fair towards president of ATP or board members that are supposed to also communicate. I mean, then, you know what I mean? Because, you know, I feel that I've been exposed way too much for being a president of the council and having that role. You know what I mean? Like, everyone holds me accountable for every single thing that happens in tennis at the moment, which I think it's unfair. Because I'm not the only one there, and then, you know, if someone wants to understand the way the structure works, then he wouldn't be having that kind of approach. That's what I'm trying to talk to you about here, not about informations that are going out there. Some of them are correct, some of them are not. I just feel like the way we go about things, there is a lack of respect. I feel like, and just pointing out to one guy and, you know, putting all the pressure on him. So that's why I think that's the only thing. I mean, nothing against you personally. I'm just feeling like the process could be handled differently.
Thank you guys very much.
Thanks. No, I mean, they want to ask about tennis for sure.
Couple more questions, and then we really have to get back.
My favorite here.
Thanks, Novak. Not too bad. This conversation. Now, I wanted to know, did you hear that the Italian Tennis Federation decided to double the price for the tickets tomorrow because there is Roger Federer playing? And we were somehow surprised and didn't expect that, especially since Federer was not here for the last 3 years. You have won here more than he did. He never won. So what is your reaction to that? Do you think it's fair? Do you think, because what it was said was that the price was doubled because they wanted to say thanks to those who bought the tickets first. Because they paid less and they must be happy that someone else is paying more. So that is what was the reason which was given. So I'd like to know what you think about, with your sense of humor.
Look, this is the first time I hear that information. I don't think that because Roger hasn't won here that it kind of affects his value or what he brings to the world of tennis or any tournament. So I think he is the biggest name, you know, he's historically the guy that won the most titles, and he's a huge brand in sports worldwide, one of the biggest of all time. So from one side I maybe can understand. I mean, I don't feel offended by that, or I don't feel it has disrespected me or Rafa or anybody else. But I mean, bottom line is that if it brings more tickets and more attendance to this tournament, that's great. That's great for everybody, you know. I hope it does. If not, then too bad.
Last question,
okay.
Please.
Are you surprised that Zverev lost today? And what do you think about Cecchinato as a player?
I'll answer the Cecchinato first. I respect him a lot. I think.
Berrettini. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Berrettini won on Zverev.
Okay. I haven't watched Berrettini too many times. I've seen he has done really well in the last 12-15 months. I think, you know, he's won some titles and he's played really well. He's very tall, very strong guy. Has a big serve and moves well for his height. I watched it in the locker room a little bit, and they have kind of similar styles. I mean, they're tall and big serves, and look, Matteo had a huge crowd support. So, you know, if you're playing in Roma and then the whole stadium is supporting you, it's can be a big advantage, you know. And he didn't have really anything to lose. And Sasha is already established top player. He's expected as a top player to reach final stages of a tournament. And then, of course, all these expectations can sometimes play with you mentally, and on the court you're just uncharacteristically maybe sometimes make some errors and you can't play certain shots that you normally do. So it's well done to Berrettini. I mean, what can you say? It's a great success for him. Thank you.